I usually do my live shows earlier in the day, but this school schedule is weird. Like, we live in a county where they started school back today, August 2nd. I've never heard of that. Then the county to our left, Greenville County, they go back on the 16th. And then there's another county that Greenville goes back on the 10th. Anderson goes back on the 16th. The county that I live in, Pickens County, the 2nd. That's a short summer. So that's the reason why these lives have been starting to be done a little bit later, because school went back a little earlier than what we expected. And here we are. But the main purpose of these live shows, college football, and it's almost here, less than 4 weeks away. When you really stop to think about it, it's kind of mind-blowing, because it seems like yesterday the national championship game was played. And we all remember the day after the national championship game is played, unless you were a Georgia fan, you were on cloud nine. The rest of us are like, my gosh, the off season is here. The off season is here. It's going to be forever until college football gets back. Well, we've gotten through it. It's on our way, and it's on its way, and I'm going to be at the Backyard Brawl. I am super, super excited about that. Super excited. Quick reminder to everybody in the chat, if you haven't already, please hit the like button. It's not a pat on the back or attaboy, anything like that. It helps the video hit the YouTube algorithm, and that helps the video get suggested more. More people click on it, and you get a bigger audience. That's how you grow. That's how you grow a video. So if you haven't done that, I would greatly appreciate that. Joey said that he wanted to come on the show. He's feeling much better. I sent him the link through email, so hopefully he will be able to get on here. I put it on the chat at the very beginning. Maybe I'm going to try that again. Hold on, guys. Just in case. Maybe I hit the wrong key on that. So give me 1 second. But I did try to put it in early. Let's see. Make sure I get everything right here. All right, double checking here real quick. I think I got everything. I think we're good. Tim, I see you in the chat, man. Feel free to jump on. And anybody else, this is basically a call-in show. We just do it through StreamYard. If you don't want to be on camera, fully understand. That's okay. You can turn your camera off. No problem with that. Jeff popping on. I'm going to let Mountaineer News on again. I did yesterday. He didn't talk, but hopefully maybe that was just he kept himself on mute or something. But what's going on, Jeff?
Hey, not much. Did you get a quick little laugh at that report I sent you earlier, how the Big 12's looking at adding Minnesota?
You know, I got a good laugh out of it, and I'm like, that on so many fronts that doesn't make any sense. Number one, why would the Big 12 want Minnesota? And number two, why would Minnesota leave the Big 10 to go to the Big 12? That doesn't make sense on so many levels. So many levels. Joey Foster in the house, everybody. What's going on, Joey? How you feeling?
Hey, feeling a lot better, man. Feeling a lot better.
Good.
Thought I'd come in with you guys for a little while. So everybody's going to have to catch me up on college football, though.
Exactly. The update that you gave me earlier was they ruled out your heart. Your heart seems to be fine. So they're zeroing in on your lungs to make sure nothing's bad wrong with your lungs, but they think that's the source of the problem.
Right. Now, well, they haven't ruled out the heart yet. I've got heart problems, and I've had heart problems for a while, but they don't think that was the cause of this. So I've got to have a lung scan and some other tests done for my lungs. And so I'm waiting to get those scheduled. They've got me on, you can see I've got a monitor here to monitor any kind of a thing with my heart. Got to wear that for the next few days. But other than that, man, I'm free. They didn't send me home with any oxygen because I told them I would just blow it up out there in the yard when I burned my couch. So
I got
they didn't send me home with oxygen.
Well, do what you got to do, man. So did either of you guys see the Big 12 prediction video that I did earlier? I literally named it the craziest prediction ever.
Yeah, I watched it.
Yeah.
Man, I got a lot of pushback on that one. What did y'all think about it? I even know Joey, who is a fellow Mountaineer fan, he didn't even agree with me.
No, I did not. I think 8-4 is really a good record for us this year, and I'm hoping for 9-3. I think it's possible. I don't see 10-2. Hey, anything's possible, but I just don't see it. I think 8-4 is more realistic. I do think we will lose to Baylor this year at home for the first time ever. And I think we'll beat Oklahoma this year. But I think we will drop Texas. I think we're going to drop Baylor, Oklahoma State, and just one other somewhere. We're not going to lose to Pitt.
Even if JT Daniels is 100% the entire year, no way of getting.
Yeah, I still think we lose to Texas, Oklahoma State, and Baylor. I still believe. I'm not saying that Texas is going to be any better. I'm just saying we're playing at Texas, and that makes a little bit of a difference. So Texas is not going to be any better than West Virginia. So it'll be a good close game. But because it's in Texas, I'm going to take Texas on it.
Fair enough.
I think West Virginia will beat Texas.
I like it. The only reason that I have Texas beating West Virginia is because of when and where the game is being played. It's a back-to-back road trip for West Virginia. It's immediately after the road trip to Virginia Tech, which I do think we beat Virginia Tech, but that's a rivalry. It's going to be an emotional win. I think we're going to be drained, and I don't think we'll have the energy to win another rivalry game on the road. I mean, if you really think about it, Texas is our biggest rival in the Big 12, so we literally have to do back-to-back road trips to our rivals.
But you played Texas, what, the third week or the fourth week?
Fourth.
Well, the good news is Alabama's going to beat them up 2 weeks before you.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
So
Texas
that could help.
Texas better brace themselves for that one because that's going to be a beatdown big time.
That's what a lot of teams don't understand about the SEC. They say, "Oh, we'll go into the SEC and we can beat Tennessee and we can beat," and that's true. But can you beat Tennessee the week after you just got beat up by Georgia?
Yeah.
Can you beat Ole Miss after you got beat up by Alabama? What do you got after the big games?
That's why I look
at
one thing I did agree. The schedules and where these games fall, because that matters too. It's not just who you play, it's where you play them and when you play them.
One thing I did agree with is your placement in the Big 12, Baylor first, you had West Virginia second. I think that's possible, second or third, especially if we go 9-3. I can see second. 8-4, I see third or fourth. I think there's a lot of polarity in the Big 12 this year. I think Baylor, Oklahoma State, Texas, West Virginia, Kansas State. I think all of those are really good programs. I think Baylor's the only elite one right now. I think the others are good. And so I think the polarity of it is just they're going to beat each other up, and there's going to be a lot of 8-4s, 9-3s in the Big 12.
Yeah. And I do think Oklahoma State takes a step back this year too, because they lost a really good defensive coordinator and they lost some key pieces on that defense. Now, I do think that their offense is going to be better, but their offense hasn't been very good over the past 2 years. I mean, it's been okay, but it's not like an offense that's going to win you football games. It was that defense that was winning football games, and I don't think they're going to be able to rely on that this year, in my humble opinion.
What's up, guys? I'm just here along for the ride.
And while I'm on here live, it's the first time I've been live since I got out of the hospital. So let me tell everybody, thank you so much for the thoughts and prayers, and especially thank you to everybody for the support from my wife. I mean, my wife said my phone was blowing up all day, and she was talking to people on a constant basis who were giving her a lot of encouragement, a lot of support, and we really appreciate that. I'm doing better, guys. I'm doing all right. I've got a long way to go still yet. Test to go through, but we'll be okay. We appreciate your support, and we love y'all too.
We got your back, buddy.
Yep.
So quick subscriber update. We are now 382 subscribers away from 10,000. So anybody in the chat, if you're not a subscriber, every subscriber is one subscriber closer to that 10,000 subscriber mark, and we're trying to get there by September 1st. I think we get there easily, but the sooner you get to a goal, the sooner you can relax and say, well, not really relax, but you can celebrate. How about that? The sooner you get there, the sooner you can celebrate and say, hey, we got there. And I'm super excited about going to the Backyard Brawl. We'll be doing a live show there. and we'll be at 10,000 subscribers whenever I do that live show. So I'm pretty excited about that. I'm really extremely excited. I'm almost 40 years old and I've never been to a backyard brawl. It's just the circumstances have never come together to where I could go to one. Whenever I was older to where, you know, I wanted to go to games myself, you know, without having to rely on mom and dad or whatever. That was right around, you know, the breakup of the Big East, all that stuff happened. And so it's just, the timing was never there. So this is my first backyard brawl. Super excited about it. And I've actually made some pit friends too. So I'm going to see them there. So that makes it even better. Jeff, I got a question for you.
What's that?
So you sent me that report where they were talking about the Big 12 wants Minnesota. What started that? Because to me, that makes no sense. Like, how did that even get started?
Well, actually, I found it. There's actually 5 different people reporting it right now. And
Right.
I actually spoke to 2 of them. And one of them got from the other guy, and the other guy got from the guy from the article that I sent you. So
Your volume's a little low right now, Jeff.
How's that?
That's better.
Okay. No, there's 5 people talking about it, and nobody has a source. Everybody heard it from the other person and so forth and so on. But I do know the Big 12 is looking at all options. I just don't see how Minnesota could be an option. They don't really fit in with the Big 12. They were a founding member of the Big 10. They're not going to take a pay cut. And Minnesota's really not a power for football.
Yeah, that y'all know me. I'll do an expansion video about any rumor that I hear. But that rumor, I can't make any sense out of it. Like, whenever I hear a rumor and I do a video on it, I at least want to try to give a scenario where it would actually make sense. I can't come up with anything. What about you, Tim? Is there anything that you can think of that would actually make that make sense?
So I was chatting. What was the question? I'm sorry.
So we're hearing rumors that the Big 12 is interested in getting Minnesota out of the Big 10. Now, I don't think there's no way that's going to happen. I'm not going to say that I don't think it's going to happen, or maybe it's not going to happen. Okay. But you know me, I do conference realignment videos on anything. If I can form an opinion, a scenario to where it kind of makes sense, I'll make a video about it. I can't come up with a game plan on how Minnesota to the Big 12 would make any type of sense.
Yeah, no. I mean, why would you leave the SEC or the Big 10 at this point? Do you know what I mean?
Right.
That's not a slide on the Big 12 or the Pac-12 or ACC, but you know, there's only the payday alone, and then there's the hype train, you know, of being one of those conferences. I don't know. I caught a lot of crap for this a while back, and I have nothing to stand it upon. But I mean, I think at some point, because again, it's not college fans, it's not tradition, it's talking anymore. It's talking about money. I'm beginning to wonder if teams are going to start getting cut from some of these leagues, you know. And I'm not going to name individual schools, so I don't want people jumping all over me and sending me hate messages on, on DMs. But you know, there's a couple of schools in, you know, both the SEC and the Big 10. But you know, see, I was talking to Tony, and Tony says not written up that way. It's not about the media rights deals. You know, it's you're part of the conference. You can't just kick someone out of the conference. I obviously you should talk to Tony about that. He knows a lot more than I do. But I'm just wondering, these guys, these bean counters, they're going to want to get rid of some of the teams. And I'm not talking about the conferences. I'm talking about the network executives. Like, hey, we get rid of these 2, we could add these 2, and then our revenue and our raise will go up. It's just going to become about television. That's what I'm thinking about.
Yeah, television and money.
Yeah,
so Minnesota, why would they leave?
If there's a way to do it, they will do it.
If they're reading the tea leaves, maybe they would leave. But I don't really, you know, none of that's going to happen anytime soon, right? So I can't see it.
That's like all that speculation there for a while. I was watching a lot of people saying, well, Notre Dame and Penn State are going to join the ACC. Penn State ain't leaving the Big Ten. Why would they do that? I mean,
that was
they're
not Tar Heel.
All that money.
They're Tar Heel.
Yeah, Tar Heel. It wasn't just Tar Heel. It was several others that said that too. That Penn State would leave the Big Ten to go join the ACC. No, they wouldn't. No, it's just not a chance. I don't see a team at all leaving the Big Ten or the SEC. The other three conferences are open for discussion, I think, but there's nobody going to leave them two conferences.
Yeah, and also, why would you join the ACC with that horrible grant of rights?
Unless you're a Group of 5 team or coming from a lesser conference, but from the Big Ten or the SEC, that's just that would be utter nonsense.
And I don't think right now even Notre Dame could save ACC.
You might be right about that, actually.
I think it's too far gone.
You need to look at what Tony just put in. That's funny. Tony says, can we just point out that if Golden Boot Dude says it's ridiculous, it's a new level of absurd. Because you're right, man. Exactly, he will do a conference realignment video on anything.
That is true.
If I can't spin it in a way that makes it maybe not seem like it's going to happen, but hey, that sort of could make sense, then there's no way to do it. It's not possible. If there's anybody that can do it, it's me. And I've looked at it forwards, backwards, upside down, doing handstands. Can't figure it out. And it's not just on one front as far as why would Minnesota leave the Big Ten without – it's on the other side too. Why would the Big 12 want Minnesota? Both sides of the argument just absolutely makes no sense whatsoever.
So even if you went with the scenario like Tim was saying, and not that Tim was saying it was going to happen, just that if conferences do start putting teams out, that would be the only scenario where you might pick up a team like that. But like I say, if that's not going to happen, there's more to it. If you look at the paperwork, there's a lot more to it than just saying, okay, they can't be a part of this conference. They don't have a winning football team. They really could care less.
Quick reminder to everybody in the chat, if you have a question, a comment, troll, whatever, you want me to address it or read it or answer the question, the best way to do that is the super chat button. That is that little dollar sign that you see on your bottom right-hand corner right under the chat. Whatever you put in that super chat, I will put it on the screen. If it's a question, I'll read the question and we'll answer to the best of our ability. If it's a comment, we'll put it up there and read the comment. And even if it's a troll, you want to make fun of me. And if you want to make fun of Tim, that's the best way to do it. That we proved that last night, right, Tim?
I'm taking all $10 personal attacks for the Golden Blue Army. Whatever you want to do, bring them on. Let's go.
But I will say this: expect for a response, Tim. I was surprised, man. I gave you an A+ on your responses last night. That was very well done.
Yeah, I fixed my air conditioning. I'm not as angry today, so it's nice and cool in here.
Yeah,
that was they caught me on the wrong day.
Yeah. I've tried to explain my air conditioning situation. So the way this house was built is the main part was built first, and then the bedroom, which is where my studio is, and there's two separate ACs, and the one for the main works, but we've had some issues with the one in here. So sometimes it gets hot in here. So if I'm extra mad sometimes, it's a hot day.
Yeah.
So Tim, I'm guessing Tim, you can empathize because you were going through some heat issues yesterday.
And everybody be sure and hit the like button. Everybody be sure and hit the like button. We've got 100.
See, I knew somebody was going to. I knew people would want to start hitting the super chat button whenever I mention your name, Tim. Eric, thank you for the $2 donation. Says Tim looks like an enchanter.
That's the enchanter. That's his holy grail. That's Monty Python. He's doing a movie quote. We were messing around.
Okay,
last week.
So that's the inside.
On Traveling Fool show. Was it? I don't know. Is either a Traveling Fools or it was like another after party chat.
Yeah, it was the after party chat.
So what you were saying earlier about maybe in the future, some of these conferences maybe kicking some teams out because they're not really contributing. They're receiving a paycheck, but they're not earning their way. So while y'all kept talking, I kind of made a list on who would be on the cut list for each Power 5 conference. And it looks to me like the conferences that would have the most on the cut line would actually be the ACC and the Big Ten. For the ACC, I would have Wake Forest, Syracuse, Boston College, Georgia Tech, and Duke on the cut line. This is football related. For the Big 12, I honestly don't know who would be on the cut line. Maybe Kansas because they're more of basketball. I'll write Kansas down. I think Kansas would be on the cut line. I know they do have a strong basketball brand, but their football is terrible. For the Big Ten, I had Maryland, Rutgers, Indiana, Illinois, and Northwestern. For the SEC, Vanderbilt, of course. Duh, no brainer. For the Pac-12, for the Pac-12, I wrote down Oregon State and Washington State, but I've seen some statistics where Washington State actually has better viewership than most people realize.
Yeah, including me. So I saw. Yeah, Tony showed me that. I was surprised.
Yeah, they got
for those that say you can't kick a team out of a conference. It's been done several times in the past, and the last one I can remember was Temple getting kicked out of the Big East.
But did they have grant of rights back then?
That would be my biggest question. But I do remember them getting kicked out.
Yeah, there's been multiple instances of members getting kicked out, and that's kind of what started the whole grant of rights thing. That way, teams are like, guarantee that you can't kick us out. So I'd have to look that up and see if there was a grant of rights in place. But yeah, you are correct. Temple did get kicked out of the Big East. I don't know why the Big East ever even accepted them, other than thinking they could grab the Philadelphia TV market. But nobody cares about Temple.
I do understand this is all about markets and TV and this and that. But for speaking for the SEC, I know everybody says, well, let's kick Vandy out. The biggest reason I don't see Vandy ever being kicked out is, let's say we're going to kick
academic powerhouse.
You're going to have a vote. Now, if you're South Carolina, Kentucky, Missouri, or Mississippi State, are you going to vote to kick Vandy out because you're next in line? When the next round of kickouts come, you could be next.
I would agree with the academic powerhouse argument, but there is such a gap between how bad Vanderbilt is and how bad a South Carolina or a Kentucky or a Mississippi State or whoever you want to throw in there. There is such a large gap that I don't see that as much of an argument. I see what you're saying. Maybe their mindset would be, hey, if we vote Vanderbilt, they could vote us next if we don't keep up our end of the bargain.
I've got one really big reason.
You guys want to know how to kick people out?
The what?
You don't know how to kick people out?
How?
So USC, UCLA, and Berkeley did this in the 50s. Literally the world today is repeating the 50s in so many ways. The way you kick somebody out, which you can only do when your grant of rights is expiring, is you quit the conference. The good teams quit the conference, and you make a new one.
That's what the Pac-12 did, actually. Yeah,
exactly. It's what they did in 1957. They quit, they made a new one, and then they left everyone else out to rot. And
what was it called before the Pac?
The Pacific Coast Conference.
That's what it was.
Yes.
The other day.
They created a whole new conference and kicked out, and then banished the others away. So
they basically dissolved the old conference. They created a new conference, even though it was the same members without the teams that they didn't want. And sort of just create a new name.
Sort of. The other conference actually could have continued. They didn't have to dissolve. It could have continued. They actually were looking at San Jose State and Utah really badly wanted to join, but then Stanford and Washington waffled, kind of a little bit like what you see now. Stanford and Washington waffled. Washington joined the new conference, and Stanford joined it 9 days before it opened. But then over time, they added the other ones back. So the old conference could have still continued to exist. So I'll give you an example. The Big Ten is really lockstep right now. The Big Ten is not getting rid of anyone. But if they wanted, Ohio State, Michigan State, Wisconsin, USC, UCLA could all say, you know what? We're out of here. We're creating a new conference called the Bigger 10, or whatever.
I like it.
And that's the only real mechanism, guys, for these, when you're thinking about these major conferences, the only real mechanism to kick somebody out would be to create a whole new one. But they don't do that just because you lose in football. They do that because you're like a mess of an institution that they don't want anything to do with.
So, you know what? I'm going to start rewarding all the people that come to the live shows. I'm going to start giving you guys kind of cheat codes or, sneak peeks. Tomorrow, here's a video that I'm going to do, and I've been thinking about it all day.
I can't wait for it.
I'm not saying it's going to happen because it's not, but it makes a lot of sense to me, and that's why I'm going to do a video on it. The ACC and the SEC doing a straight merger, okay, and they could get rid of those teams that I mentioned that are on the cut line. ESPN has the TV deals for both, so they could work out, whatever monetization makes sense the most. But to me, that's the shortest. I don't know. That's like the straight line. The shortest distance between two spots or two whatever is a straight line. To me, that's the straight line. Would be if they were to merge, and then those teams that I mentioned that are on the cut line don't make the cut.
The only problem might be a little thing called fraudulent conveyance. And oh my God, I'm blank. What's his name? Our awesome WVU attorney, who's brilliant and awesome. Who's on your shows on Fridays?
Oh, Travis Kenobi.
Travis.
Travis. Yeah.
Yeah, we want Travis to chime in on this, but like, you would absolutely get your asses sued for everything, probably under fraudulent conveyance, if you were to do something like that. That's the problem.
Well, what I'm saying is, like, get the teams to vote to dissolve first, and then get those brands that you want in to. I call it merging. It's not really merging. It's getting those 8 teams to vote to dissolve, and then invite them in.
It would be very challenging to see that happen.
But
it will make many.
My question is, what's the difference between that and what they're talking about now, trying to figure out a way around the grant of rights and bringing in those 4 brands?
Well,
what's
so the difference is when you say
and getting all the brands instead of getting 4 at a time.
When you say when they're talking about, you mean when like every idiot like YouTuber who's like a dentist with a Google sheet like imagines what they want, as opposed to like what the actual like attorneys and conferences are talking about.
Right. Well, I'm just going by what ESPN said about that.
Yeah. I mean, that's the hard thing, guys, is like what's really in discussion and what's not. Like that ACC grant of rights is like so hard to bust. Because
I would agree with that.
And the thing that I come back to it is, you all know that Texas government is shady AF.
Oh yeah.
I don't think I can say a lot on YouTube. And you know that if there was a way for them to pry Texas, guys, these are people, they would equate the grant of rights with an abortion if they could legally find a way to get it out of there. Yeah. Like they'd be like, abortion is illegal unless it's for a grant of rights. Or something like that in Texas. If they could
basically they'd try to figure out how to flush it.
Yeah, if they could get UT out of it, UT would be out of it. So the fact that UT is sitting there like filing its nails and being like, we're here for 3 more years, that thing has got to be. Yeah, J.K. Marshall just said solid as granite. It kind of is.
What do you think about this angle? The real Hayden, thank you for the $5 donation. He says, another perspective to consider is the SEC and the Big Ten like and need teams like Vanderbilt / Rutgers, etc., to be bottom feeders. Someone has to lose.
100% right.
Yep.
Well, that and you get to go to Nashville and Broadway if you keep Vanderbilt. So there's a reason to keep him right there.
Yeah, I mean, he's completely, Hayden is completely right. Like, somebody how okay is Texas going to be if they're 4-8 every year? Like,
well, I'm not talking about like success on the field. Like, to me, I think the reason that they add teams aren't because they're good on the field. It's because of the money that they draw in. Like, Texas could go 4-8, 7-5, 8-4, whatever, and they're still going to draw in tons and tons.
No, I don't mean
the
SEC. I mean Texas itself. They would lose their minds. Like, see, in the NFL, ideally in the NFL, everybody's 8-8. Yeah. Like, if the NFL had everybody 8-8, they would just be like 8-8. A couple are like 7-9. The NFL would be like delirious with happiness.
Texas just went 5-7. That's only 1 loss away from 4-8. So
yeah, and they're losing their.
Don't trip yourself over that one.
They've been losing their minds.
Wait a minute, I'm onto something. Actually, I think I figured it out. That's why the SEC grabbed Texas and the Big Ten grabbed USC, because you got doormats that bring a lot of money. I'm starting to see it. Tony, starting to see it. It's all coming together now. T4, if you thought, I'm sorry.
I got representatives from both. Tim from USC and I thought I had a Texas.
And again, before the DM start, Trojan fans, I'm just completely kidding. That was all tongue in cheek.
2005 is coming back.
No, he was
Or maybe
being
the
for
Big
real.
Ten had too many doormats, and they wanted someone other than Ohio State, Michigan, Michigan State, Penn State every year.
This is my new best friend.
Stubby, that was
It just
again, Stubby.
worked.
I want to be
Best
very clear.
friends
That was
forever.
total sarcasm. That was
Why did
not
I
me
title
smacking
this
down my
video
school.
Smack Talk? We're all being friendly.
Tim, did you see my comment earlier? I said, you guys don't listen to Tim. He went to a little Methodist school created in a dirty mustard field on the outskirts of a waterless pueblo.
That's true.
Were you here last night whenever judicial protest and Tim were going at it?
Yeah,
Man, that was epic.
Oh, that was amazing.
Insane. That was probably the best show I've ever done. I don't care if it was not the most viewers. That was the best show. It was amazing.
But
Like, yeah,
unfortunately,
that was
spent
hot.
all
I
of
had no
his
air
honest
conditioning.
money.
And did we ever figure out who he was a fan of? Did anybody figure that one out?
He's a fan of you because he gave you enough money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was the Big 12 team. It wasn't. I made a comment. I think he took exception to the fact I can't remember what it was about, but I was talking about how the Big 12 adding. I think he might have been a fan of one of the schools that the Big 12's adding. I think he really kept repeating that comment I made about the fact that adding 4 G5 schools to the Big 12 is not going to make it a power conference.
He's probably
Well,
BYU
Memphis is
because
right
he's
there.
worried about NAMBLA.
Yeah, that's the one that really made me raise my eyebrows.
No, but BYU people don't say the quiet part out loud. He's probably Cincinnati. They like.
He
to
was
say the
big
quiet
mad.
part.
That dude was big mad, and it was funny, and I hope he had fun, and I hope your bank account enjoyed it.
Yeah, I hope you get
Yeah,
a nice
we had a
nice
pretty night.
fun bag out of it.
And Cincinnati does have the Napoleon complex going on right now, so
Yep.
that would make
Yep.
sense. That would make sense. We might be onto something.
Now, are you
Might
going
be
to do
onto
it?
something.
I
I
like
think
it,
we're starting to
Paxton.
figure this out.
You need to do a night show Friday. That's when he gets his allowance again.
Okay, I will mark it down. Do you know what time he starts? Do you know what time he starts drinking?
I don't know.
Probably around 7.
Around 7. Okay, so anytime.
Yeah,
after
when it's
7.
you can go to bed.
Mom doesn't go to bed until 9, so it's probably after 9.
Do you take EBT cards on your Patreon? No.
We're working on it. We're working on it. We are working on it. Yes. EBT,
So while we got a
in the
second
process.
here, I want to say that anybody also that super chats, remember you're in for a chance to win a game camera, game show camera.
There he is.
And anyone that makes a purchase from our store, our merchandise store, you're in to win a set of night vision binoculars. And these things are cool. I mean, they got cameras in them. They take pictures. This is a nice gift package, and they're brought to us from Traveling Fools. Traveling Fools has donated these items. They're brand new. He purchased them and donated them to the show for us to give away. Be sure and sub up Traveling Fools over there.
So
he just hit 1,000. Yeah,
What-
there is
what's
the game camera.
that's the game
That's
camera.
the game show camera, and it's for people.
What's
that super
the
chat.
value on that? What's the value on that one?
I think it's 100, and I think it's 129. I think.
Nice.
All
think-
right,
I think
and
what's the
then
value?
let me get to the binoculars real quick. I like the binoculars the best, to be honest with
Yeah,
you.
the binoculars are super nice. And they're valued at like $170.
Yes.
So they those are really nice because they'll take the pictures. You can use them in daytime or nighttime because they're night vision. So those are for anybody that makes a purchase in the store. Doesn't matter what you buy, how big or little, you're going to get a chance to win those binoculars.
Sandra, just
And that's
just
all
be
month.
clear.
That's the entire
Okay,
month. I'm
Tim,
sorry, go ahead.
judicial protest wants you to know that you went JUCO. His first donation of the night is a $5 donation. Says, Tim, directly to you, buddy. I'm a fan of Harvard. Okay, hold on. This might
That
be a
explains
slur.
everything.
I'm a
so-
fan of Harvard, my alma mater. Sorry you went to a JUCO, bro.
No, because if he was actually from Harvard, he'd say I went to school in Boston.
Yeah.
Ah.
Nice try. By the way,
you know the lingo,
clear,
Tony.
Sandra.
You
That was
know
a
the lingo.
recommendation, that's not a
Nice.
prediction. Not a prediction.
Well done.
So it's like if you're an Ohio State fan and you talk about Michigan, you don't say Michigan, you say that team up north.
Yeah, or like if you're an Ohio State fan and you just call yourself Ohio U, be the same thing.
or the Ohio State.
Exactly.
That makes sure to say the Ohio
Do
State.
just say the.
Yeah, they've done away with Ohio State. Now it's the university.
Yeah, they're just the Buckeyes.
TOSU.
I'm trying to see if I pronounced this one correctly. Thank you, BOKR Arican? Blackarican? I don't know.
Blackarican.
Blackarican, there you go.
Maybe.
That's what it looks like. Blackarican, thank you for the $5 donation. I just want to know, what is everybody's opinion on UCF in the future and what they are doing already by getting many 4 stars FPR the first time?
I'll tell you what,
I'm actually very impressed on the way UCF is recruiting before they even get into the Big 12. But at the same time, shouldn't we expect that since they're right there in Orlando?
Yeah, but I'll also say long-term future, UCF is doing exactly the same stuff that Michigan State and UCLA did, like as they ramped up and joined their big conferences. And it would not surprise me at all if UCF turns itself into continue the trajectory to be a big power.
Yeah, they'll be very solid.
Were y'all here whenever I had that captain from
is,
UCF on here? He said that Disney has been literally funneling money into UCF. That's a fact.
Oh, UCF has like the number 4 school for hospitality in the world.
Yeah.
And a huge alumni base, right? Their enrollment's huge, and they have a
huge enrollment.
And so that means they have a lot of alumni assuming, and they got the Orlando market.
The cool thing is, kind of cool thing is they don't have a lot of alumni yet. They're just like churning them out every year more and more. They have the youngest average alumni base of anybody, I think.
Right.
Yeah. They're going to struggle coming into a Power 5 conference for the first couple of years, but I think that give them 2 years and they'll be finishing at the top of the conference, probably in the top 3 or 4 in a couple of years. I think when they first come in, they're going to be down to bottom cellar there for a couple of years, but after that they'll be okay. They're in a hot recruiting bed down there in Florida, and so they, bringing on 4-star athletes, that's nothing unusual in Florida. You can do that pretty simply,
But for a group of 5 team.
But right. So coming into Power 5, I think when you come into Big 12, you might have to beef up your size a little bit. It would be my guess on your lines, and maybe learn some different techniques and stuff. But I think
but not as bad as if they were going into the SEC. That'd be a whole different ballgame.
No, not as bad as the SEC. But still, coming into Big 12, you're still playing a Power 5 schedule, and it's going to be tougher than you're playing now.
Right. I would agree with that.
No, I'm sorry, but the Big 12 people tell me the Big 12 is better than the SEC.
No, I'm not delusional. I'm not delusional.
That's what I read on Twitter.
No.
Is the best conference.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, Twitter said I had a stroke too.
On it? I didn't know about that one.
And the scary thing is, that's the nicest thing Twitter's ever said about you. Who knew?
I know
it. Y'all are going to have to send me the link to that because I didn't even see that. That's insane.
Hey, how glad are we to have Joey back?
Very glad.
Yeah.
We were scared there for a little while. Seriously.
I'm happy to be back.
I mean, when your wife says, found you not breathing, I was like,
yeah,
Sergeant Pickles, this is for you.
Right there.
Am I doing it right?
Sergeant Pickles 13, thank you for the $1.99 donation. Says, hello all, Tony and Tim, go Dogs.
Let's come on,
Dog
guys.
emoji, umbrella emoji.
They've been so bad. Give Sergeant Pickles some dubs.
Hey, simplify, Sergeant Pickles.
I will say this, okay? Sergeant Pickles, a lot of Georgia fans are pretty good human beings.
No. Wrong
dog.
Wrong dog.
Notice the purple there. It's wrong dogs.
Purple.
Okay.
Think 1990.
I want to talk about Georgia anyways.
Okay.
But excuse me, my bad. Washington. Going back to Georgia, though. Georgia does have some fans that are decent human beings, but I'm going to tell you right now, okay? And this is going on YouTube, so people will be able to rewatch it, blah, blah, blah. There are some YouTubers out there that I'm not going to name that have become insufferable ever since Georgia won their national championship. Now, here's the comparison that I'm drawing, guys, okay? So
Since
I live about
just
20
the
minutes,
national
15
championship?
minutes outside of Clemson. I live really, really close. And I lived here whenever Clemson won both of their national championships. I did not hear any type of the reactions that I'm seeing and the way they're talking down to other fan bases and just the sheer nonsense that I'm hearing. I'm like, yeah, you just won the national championship, but why did you just say that? I don't know if that makes any sense because I've lived here in Clemson for over a decade now. So I lived here whenever they won the national championship. Yes, they were super excited. They were happy, but I didn't see any of this nonsense trash talking that I'm hearing from Georgia fans. I know it's been 40 years. I understand it's been 40 years since Georgia's won a national championship. I understand that. But, I mean, they've been relevant. They've been really, really close recently. They've been to the playoffs multiple times. I would think that their reaction to a national championship would be a little bit more mature.
Civil.
Mature.
Thanks for
I wouldn't say civil. I say mature.
I took that one down. That one down.
I was in the middle of talking before I saw that.
Hey, Tim, congrats on your $5.
He's trying to get my channel taken down.
I'm sorry.
Pushing it. That's funny though.
That was that was a suplex. I can't even come back on that one. I can't respond to that one.
On that one, Tim is laughing on that one. Wow.
So Tim has.
I guess we called him out, and he's answering the bell, Tim.
All you gotta do is ring the bell, and that guy will come. Don't worry. No pun intended.
That's.
Wow. Is there any way for us to recover from that one?
Traveling Fool says that when you're there, what did it say? I want to see what Traveling Fool said here.
Tony, Tony's muted.
Put that up for a second.
Oh, I've been muted. Sorry, I was trying to point out that USC is the school where Grinder was invented, so that would have been a varsity team, not an intramural team.
Ah, okay.
Mark Sanchez would have been getting.
Thanks for clearing that up. Yeah. Go ahead, Joey.
I like that Traveling Fools. Traveling Fools saying, well, when the only thing you've won in 40 years is the funnel cake from the Carney, it all makes sense.
But, you know, and yeah. I get that it's been 40 years since they won a national championship, but it's not like they've been bad for 40 years. I mean, they've been pretty stinking good. They've won the SEC multiple times. They got into the playoffs several times. So they've been good, just, you know, one game short of a national championship a couple of times. So the immaturity, the lack of civility in the way they're responding, I'm like, I did not see that coming. Like I get rubbing it in people's faces and being happy and celebrating and all that, but they have taken it to another level. Georgia fans have taken it to another level. Am I the only one that feels this way? Is anybody else seeing this?
I haven't personally experienced or seen it firsthand, but I will say this. You know, I think you got to remember one thing as well. You have to look back at what Georgia fans are all the stuff that Georgia fans have put up with probably for the past 8 years, where they're doing really well, or maybe in just the last 40 years, all the crap they've taken. So I don't know. I mean, they won. First off, they won, right? They won. Yeah. So yeah, it's kind of hard to cut back on that because they won the national championship. But at the same time, I remember what coaches would tell you is like, act like you've been there before. I mean, you score a touchdown, hopping around and stuff. It's like it kind of shows yourself up. It's like it's a major accomplishment. You actually got in the end zone. Okay, walk away like you've done it before.
Like this, go Dogs, natty champs. Yes, get over what?
Yep.
I didn't say you weren't national champs. I'm saying you guys are acting like juveniles.
But think about
That's what I'm saying.
Children. That's not cool.
Georgia.
Get over what? What are you talking about?
Georgia's the SEC version of Michigan. Georgia right now is like the SEC version of Michigan. They win a whole lot of games, but don't have trophies to show.
Hey, now I'm from Michigan, and that is totally fair.
The crazy thing about Michigan is they're the all-time winningest college football program out there, but they haven't won a national championship since 1998.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I honestly don't know if I will ever see West Virginia win a national championship in my lifetime, especially the way conference realignment is going. We might get left out altogether. Like, we may have used up all of our chances in the past. But if somehow a miracle happened and we won the national championship, I wouldn't be like out here acting like a straight up kid, like a juvenile. Like, I don't know. Like, I would be celebrating. I would be happy. I would be throwing it in people's faces, but it's a different level.
I'm sorry.
Wait, where is Tar Heel in the chat? I feel like Tar Heel needs to answer that too. That answer has come. By the way, for you guys talking about horns right now, did you guys all see the Stanford Trees reaction to who is the best Big 12 mascot? So the Big 12 put up a Twitter thing and had pictures of the 12 mascots, and it said, "Who's the best mascot?" And the answer from the Stanford Tree was, "I don't know, but horns down."
I'll accept that.
You sure showed them.
I know. I was like, all right, Stanford's out there making friends.
Thank you, Blackarican, for the $2 donation. Said changed his name after they won, Sir UGA. LOL. Yeah, I know some that did that as well. I need to read this one from Judicial Protest before I put it on the screen to make sure it's.
Yeah, you're gonna want to read it.
Yeah, hold on.
Let's see.
He got his allowance early.
He's going after Tony this time.
I'll tell you, it's because they set aside a few of those spots for those of us from schools and dirty mustard fields outside LA. Just a couple of special short bus spots that they hold for us.
Man,
it's true.
Definitely making us laugh tonight.
I know. Meanwhile, GBD's over there, like on the Louis Vuitton site. Like, I like this bag.
I'm making sure I'm not missing anything because I don't want to put anything on the screen that I'm not.
No, I think that's good. I think that was good.
That's what I'm thinking, but okay.
You can make fun of me.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, it's good.
Sure.
This one's good.
Okay. Because that one that is about the organization that I had never heard of until I researched it afterward. I was like, oh my gosh, I wish I hadn't put that on the screen. Because I had never heard of that organization before he put that on the super chat the other day.
What, 247 Sports?
No, the Nabla, whatever that.
Yeah. So a different organization that chases underage teen boys across the internet?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I had actually
I get them confused.
Hand to God, I had never heard of that before. Seriously.
I'm sorry, guys. We're talking about recruiting coverage. We're not chasing underage boys across the internet.
But Judicial Protest keeps Judicial Protest. He takes trash talk to like
varsity team
beyond third degree.
He's clearly
not.
You
should feel good. He spent his pizza money on you tonight, there, Golden Blue Dude.
We appreciate it. Great. We definitely appreciate it. He's got some good trash talk. It seems like
the Ivy League version of Georgia fans.
You might be right about that. And he zeroed in on Tim for a while, and now it looks like he's taking a shot at Tony as well.
There's a saying in
nobody's off limits.
There's a saying in the Ivy League that there's no problem in college sports that they didn't invent, and it's true. And as far as like vicious trash talking goes, like they are vicious in trash talking to each other. Like it's like ferocious. Thank you, Sergeant Pickles. Although I don't know, I speak poor people too. I
imagine Ivy League fans do their research when they trash talk.
Oh, they totally do. They're just like Stanford fans.
They have the statistics back of their trash talk.
Yeah, the Ivy League fans are like Stanford fans, except like because they're sort of in their little clubby thing together. Like, imagine if it was like Stanford versus Stanford, like how ugly it would get. That's pretty much how they are.
Ooh. What about the? I know it's a big rivalry.
Except there's only like 5,000 minutes.
I've always wondered what trash talk between Stanford and Cal fans look like because I know that's a real rivalry. I mean, they
hate each other.
One of the biggest rivalries in the nation. But we also know that they're Ivy League caliber type of students. So what kind of trash talk goes between those two?
And also Ivy League relevance in terms of the national football picture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would agree with that.
Oh.
So now, would anybody have a problem if I donated $25 and give up my spot to Judicial so he could come on here and do trash talking live?
That scares me. That would scare me. That would scare me.
By the way, thank you, Sergeant Pickles, for that.
I might have to keep him mute the entire show.
Yeah.
At least have the mute button handy.
Sergeant Pickles, just to actually go back to your question about your dogs. I mean, I do like what the board's going to do. I'm wondering, it would have been better if you'd got Hainer to come with him. You know, I'm sure you probably would have liked that too. But
what happened there, guys? Do you know?
With Hainer?
Hainer went into the portal to go there with DeBoer and then decided to come back when Tedford got the job.
Could be. Well, I mean, Tedford is, Tedford's seeing his quarterbacks, correct?
It is,
and Tedford's offense. Maybe it was development.
When you were driven out of Seattle to come back to Seattle as the king with your coach, who doesn't do that?
A lot of strawberry NIL deal. I don't know what it could be.
I think Washington is another one of those big-time brands that's kind of like a sleeping giant because Peterson had Washington headed in the right direction for sure, and then he abruptly retired, and Lake wasn't the answer. What about the new coach they have?
He's really.
I don't really know much about him.
He's won big at every level he's been at, like rapid rising from like NAIA up to like D3, D2, like led Indiana to stuff, and then took over for Tedford, won big at Fresno State, and like I mean he's one of those like young coaches who's like won at every level, and is also like, I mean I hate the dogs, right? But he's like a great guy. And so like you look at him, you look at Jen Cohen, and you look at like the role that Washington's always sort of played being a power, and it's.
So am I okay? Is this how you pronounce his name? Kalen DeBoer?
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm looking him up real quick. When did they hire him? Because I know they just fired Lake, right?
Yeah, it was 2 days after Lincoln Riley.
All right, so
nobody noticed.
So when you go to Washington's website, University of Washington, and it shows him, it literally gives his resume. Sioux Falls student, assistant coach, wide receivers, Washington High School assistant coach, back to Sioux Falls, but head coach, offensive coordinator, Southern Illinois offensive coordinator, Eastern Michigan offensive coordinator, Fresno State offensive coordinator, assistant head coach, Indiana. He was over there in Indiana as an offensive coordinator, and then of course he was the head coach at Fresno State. And so, Fresno State actually. So he was a coach at Fresno State from 2020, 2021. Fresno State was actually pretty good those 2 years.
Everywhere he's been has been good when he was there. Like he's literally like a winner. The question is he going to do this?
And he went at the highest level.
Yeah, and also is Washington to suck him into the same vortex that sucked in Neuheisel. Sarkisian was on his way before that went down. Like Washington has tended to be like sort of a way to like a black hole to like suck out the talent of some of their winners.
The thing about Washington,
on the side of that, I think they have tremendous potential.
So much.
Well, the potential comes from the fact they're fans. So, for instance, everything that the country thinks about, sometimes rightfully so, about the Pac-12 and the apathy for football. What you have to realize is in the Pacific Northwest, when you talk about Oregon, Washington, Oregon State, and Washington State to a slightly less degree, these are rabid fans. These guys, they support their program. They pack their stadiums. They're a bit smaller, but some of these stadiums, if they were larger, they would be packing those stadiums. So they're behind their team.
Check this out, guys. Hold on. Check this out, guys. Over his 7 seasons as a head football coach, DeBoer has compiled a 79-9. That's an 89.8% winning record. That's amazing. And I know that's not on the highest level, and this is where the true test is going to be. But at least that shows that he's a winner and that he does have some experience.
Yeah, those are big jumps. I mean, Cutter won at like Boise, right? And who's the other guy from Boise State? Not Peterson, but the other one. They both went to Arizona. They went to Arizona State. Now I'm thinking back farther. Sometimes when they make these jumps, it doesn't really work out.
Went to Auburn.
Yeah, I'm not sure if anyone can remember the chat, but there were two guys from Boise State that won big. And kind of follow each other to ASU, and they kind of feel. I know Dirk Cutter was one of them. But the problem is when you go from the G5 level to to a P5 level, it's a bigger jump than I think people realize. They can chain some major wins going up that way, but then it's not about when you move to the Power 5. It's not about the players as much as you're also going against the top of the top coaching staffs. So I mean, it will be interesting to see if the board can continue that winning streak he has. Yeah, Hawkins.
I will say this: it's not
Hawkins.
like he's jumping into the SEC or the Big Ten. He is jumping into the Big 12, and yes, that's a significant gap. But I think the Pac-12 provides a bigger curve that he can go by. He doesn't have to, be a great coach immediately to win. Maybe he can be good or slightly above average and go maybe 7-5, 8-4, and then build upon that. I'm not trying to trash talk at the Pac-12 or anything, but it is what it is. The Pac-12 doesn't have, an Alabama or a Georgia right now. So it's not like he's getting into a situation where he could potentially set himself up to get beat up as a head coach.
Yeah, no, he might do great. And if he does, those fans, you guys, Washington fans are serious fans. They're awesome.
Yes.
They also have a great fight song, by the way.
And that's one stadium that I want to visit. I've seen the bird's eye view and the lake view. That is amazing looking stadium. Y'all screen that. I'm going to keep talking. Y'all screen that screenshot and let me know if I can put it on.
Judicial just give you another $10.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Judicial protest, by the way, you screwed this up, right? The joke is not to. I'm giving you some pointers here. I'm helping you out. The joke is not to make fun of USC Trojans for being condoms. The joke, which Stanford is really good at, is to remind USC that the Trojans lost. And actually that USC got the Trojans name after a track meet where they lost.
No, apparently he uses traveler condoms. I don't know. I think those are actually the smaller size condoms because that's the mascot's name. I don't know. Our mascot's not the Trojans. Right, that's the name of the team, but the mascot's actually called Traveler. So he's also
the quickest way for a live show to go off the rails is to have a commenter by the name of Judicial Protest super chat. That is the fastest way to get a live show off the tracks. Off the
yes.
But it's fun. Not gonna lie, it's fun.
And it's good for your wallet.
We do appreciate the support, by the way. That's pretty awesome.
They're smaller for her pleasure. I like it, J.K. Marshall.
You're going to have to work on the speech at the beginning. You're going to have to work on the speech at the beginning, though, to tell them if they super chat, you might read it. You may not be able to.
I'm still waiting for USC to go all in on that Trojan NIL deal.
For what?
I'm still waiting for USC to go all in on the Trojan, the Trojan NIL deal.
I'm not gonna lie, that would make sense.
Yeah, I mean it's California, it's the Trojans.
Not sure if that's an image that the university would want to pass off on, though. But yeah,
no, I mean it is LA.
They'd be all about.
Yeah, it's LA.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, LA is not Sodom and Gomorrah. I don't think the university would allow us to do that.
If we were talking about like the Alabama Trojans, then I would say absolutely not.
And UCLA.
Since it's USC, maybe that could work. I could see it.
It's been 1,019 since Texas beat Kansas. I like it, Hayden.
Oh, I like this one.
This is a good one.
Have the higher ups ran the numbers on that being a potential sponsor? Kind of, figure out if people would be okay with that or not.
Cause would people lose their excitement if that happened? Just teasing. He's gonna kick me out. What'd you do, Joel's protest?
Oh my gosh,
I like it. Is yours legit? Absolutely, I think he is. GBD, tell us about Wvu Fall Camp. What's going on there? You got a lot of mountaineers you want to know.
Well, the one big thing that I'm hearing about Fall Camp is that JT Daniels is meshing in with the rest of the team like almost instantly. I've seen a lot of reports how there's no There's no friction or dysfunction between him and anybody else. He's fitting in. It's almost like he's been there since day one. So that was the biggest thing that I was, keeping my eyes and ears out on for West Virginia, because JT Daniels, he's the big time transfer from Georgia, but that wouldn't mean anything if he didn't mesh well with the team. So it seems like he's meshing well with the team. Everything else has gone smoothly. The spring game went well. So, that's really the only thing to report on, because that's the only thing that we've been waiting on was JT Daniels. He wasn't part of the spring game. So I was just waiting to see on how well he was going to fit in. So far, so good. So I'm very excited about that. Thank you, The Real Hayden, for the $5 donation. Says, since the name of the show is Trash Talk, it's been 1,019.
I'm assuming he means days.
Days since Texas beat Kansas. That can't be right.
Maybe they didn't play him last year.
They probably didn't play for COVID.
Holy crap! Wow, I didn't even realize that. That's pretty good. That's actually pretty good. It's actually, whenever I watched that game last year, how we've seen, these FCS or these lower tier teams come in and give them a good fight, but in the end, the bigger team wins. To me, that was the feeling that I was getting with the Texas-Kansas game, because they did build a lead and Texas came back. So I was thinking, Kansas, you played a heck of a game, poured your heart out, but it looks like the bigger team is going to finally pull it out. So I got to give credit to Kansas. You guys hung in there and you didn't give up, and you pulled out a massive, massive upset. I was stunned. Even though you see these teams build these leads, but you're like, look who you're playing and look who you are. They're going to come back. And Texas did come back, but Kansas held on. So, yeah, that was one of the biggest shocks that I've experienced as far as watching a college football game in quite some time.
Well, and unfortunately for Kansas last year, they started to beat Oklahoma, and then they opened up their stadium and let anybody come in, and they were winning the whole game until just in the fourth quarter when they blew it.
Yeah. And wasn't it because of that fourth down, Caleb Williams literally ripping the ball out of his running back?
His own running back's hand,
Yeah. That was a genius move, too. Not going to lie.
Kansas could have said they would have beat Oklahoma and Texas in the same year. Who would have thought that?
Yeah, exactly. Wow, that would have been one for the ages. Our own Joey Foster contributing to the show. I appreciate that, buddy. $5 donation says, judicial protest is the poster child for the next super chat anonymous problem poster. Get the PR guys up on that. Yeah, we're working on that. I agree. 100% agree. But you know what? I didn't even think about that, but you're correct. Kansas played Oklahoma really, really close, and they had several opportunities to beat Oklahoma, and they were actually beating them up until the fourth quarter, and then that fourth down happened, and Oklahoma held on. Had they held on, Kansas beating Oklahoma and Texas in the same year?
That Kansas game,
what was the last time that happened? Was whenever they won the Big 12, like back in, what was it, 2007 or something? People forget that at one time under Mangino, Kansas was actually really good. Really, really good.
Yeah, that would have been something else.
Jeez, Jeff.
Oh, no.
Taco Tuesday. I forgot about that. It is Taco Tuesday. You know what the sad thing is? Today's Taco Tuesday, and I had a Subway meatball sub on a Taco Tuesday.
On a Taco Tuesday, not good.
And we did debate Taco Bell, but I forgot it was Tuesday. Otherwise, I would have pushed the debate harder. Forgot it was Tuesday.
He gets 2 tacos. He gets you get like 2 tacos and something to drink for like $2 or something.
Me?
No, Jeff.
Oh no, down here I get 2 tacos and a big thing of homemade French fries for $2.
Yeah.
What does the MX stand for?
That's Mexican money. I paid you pesos. I don't have
that. We'll take it. So
that's 22 cents.
I was about to say
22 cents.
22 cents. Okay, we're good.
Wow. It's $2.50.
That'll work. We take pesos as well.
But you got to use them on tacos, though.
Yeah. Yep. Subway does have some pretty good footlongs.
Yeah. Brilliant.
I mean, $5 is $5, right, GBD?
Yes. Yes. That's very, very cheap. Very, very cheap.
We could just sit there and do a whole show and just let him super chat and just laugh and read it.
Next subject.
I wonder how much more money his mom has on her credit card.
I don't know. I've always wondered that.
Gotta find out.
And what
he's running out of cash. He's down to $2 now.
We need to figure out. We need to figure out what days he gets paid too. That's your jackpot days right there.
I'm thinking most kids get their allowance on Friday.
Okay. So we gotta mark that down.
But he might get his lunch money on Monday.
That's why I'm trying to figure this out. Is it a payday or is it a lunch money day? Which one is it? We need to nail that down.
Yes.
Yeah. But yeah, we were gonna go by Taco Bell. When I go to Taco Bell,
all Subways are.
I like to get I like those beef gorditas, so I usually get one of those, the Supreme. I get a chalupa usually. I get a bean burrito, but I don't like onions, so I say no onions, add sour cream. And then if they have the nacho fries, oh man, I love those nacho fries. So where they only do that a limited time, every time they come out with nacho fries, I try to load up on them. Like,
okay, so
I'll go just for 5 orders of nacho fries.
Tim, by the way, guys, it's official. I've lived in New York for too long. I'm reading all these comments on Subways, and I'm like, what's wrong with the Subway? It's so much faster. And I was like, oh yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
I have never ridden a Subway.
Really? It's great.
Never.
I mean, it's kind of dirty, but it's like part of the charm.
Hey, Tony.
How
if
fast
you think
are they? Like super fast, or like does it feel like you're gonna fly off the rails?
No.
Okay.
It's not that fast. What were you gonna say, Jeff? Sorry.
Tony, if you think New York subways are bad, come on down to Mexico City and visit me. I'll take you on a fun ride.
Do they have Subways down there?
Oh yeah, we got Subway all
I didn't know that.
the city.
They got earthquakes too.
Every day.
That's not a combination I'd want to be a part of.
Well, what's crazy around here is I live right off the foothills, right? And usually our weather is, we'll get storms or whatever. But the past 2 years, past 3 years, we've actually been getting tornadoes, and we've had a couple of bad ones. So I'm thinking about reload. I don't like tornadoes. Whenever a warning pops up, it makes my heart race a little bit. I've always not liked them. So.
Oh yeah, tornadoes suck.
Yeah, and around here, it's not a normal thing. So these past 3 years have been extremely stressful to me. Extremely stressful.
All right,
it's all shifting to the east.
I got a question for a Utah fan in the chat there. For Remnick Johnson, question for you. Like, why was Utah radio today talking about like Utah and the Mountain West? Like, what kind of like stupid clickbait is that? You guys are not going to the Mountain West. You're not going anywhere actually.
Well, the only reason I brought it up was because I didn't think
on a Utah channel today.
Yeah. Well, I didn't do it on Utah. I made a video, and part of the video today was if the Pac-12 goes under, they could be in danger of possibly going back to the Mountain West if they got blocked out of the Big 12, because I don't see the Big 10 wanting them. Utah to the SEC wouldn't make sense. Utah to the ACC wouldn't make sense. So,
but this is a big thing.
It was on the caveat of if the Big 12 turned them down, they might have to tuck their tail and go to the Mountain West, and if the Pac-12 closed up shop.
But the Pac-12 isn't going to close up shop. Instead, even if there were only like 4 teams left in the Pac-12, they would take 8 from the Mountain West or wherever to refill it, because the Pac-12 has autonomy powers. And any conference that doesn't have autonomy, by the way, guys, there's no such thing as P5. P is not a real thing. It's the A5. The A is for autonomous. That's an NCAA legislated designation.
Okay.
And the Pac-12 has it, which means that if you're in a conference that doesn't have it, you want to be in a conference with autonomous power.
Who all has it?
the 5 conferences that the media wrongly calls the Power 5. But
so that's what that's referring to. Okay.
A5. It's really the A5. So they have the A5 have the 5 conferences of autonomy. So anybody in those conferences that is lacking a hole and wants to be filled, people. Okay, there you go, judicial.
With the subway,
they all want to fill those holes.
Okay.
That's for you, judicial branch.
Sergeant Pickles says Tony needs to start a podcast.
Oh, thanks, Sergeant.
I would agree with that.
Oh yeah.
When is that going to happen?
GBD has better patience than I do.
You don't need patience, man. You just need to talk. And you can have me on as a guest. So
hey, you would be welcome as a guest.
Just invite him on. Judicial Protest will show up, and he'll just donate $10 every 5 minutes.
By the way, hold on. By the way, he doesn't have any videos yet. He doesn't have any videos out yet. But Jeff Grimm has started his own YouTube channel. It's called Jeff. You tell him.
It's Tide Guy.
Tide Guy. He's an Alabama fan, so he's called his channel Tide Guy. I'm already subscribed. No videos out yet, but he is going to put some out. So
I'm subscribing right now.
Jump on board this real quick, and we will all see his first video. I'm actually pretty excited about it.
Yeah, Jeff, drop the link in the chat.
I will
drop it in the chat. You know, whatever you want to do, buddy.
Videos this week. I'm going to try to do my first video either Wednesday or Thursday.
That'll work. When he told me,
he
messaged me that earlier, I was like, let's go, man. Immediately subscribed. Go ahead, Joey.
Tony, you want to plug what you're doing, what you and I have talked about for you?
Yeah, so we're gonna look at a program. Joey and I are working on an idea. We're gonna take a lot of really cool data analysis stuff and create like kind of an interactive Patreon community that would let us like dig into all kinds of data and have lots of raw data, and people can look up stuff for their own teams and like have things that like they can use that are relevant to their own teams with like new stuff coming out pretty regularly. So we're putting that together right now. That I think might be kind of fun. But designed so that like fans can actually be able to access stuff about their teams.
This is what I'm talking about. So since Georgia won the national championship, the rest of us are irrelevant. So was the Georgia fan base irrelevant before they won their national championship last year for 40 years?
Sir UGA. So here's the number one lesson they teach you in comedy, which I mean, so they tell me I'm not actually a comedian, but the number one thing they teach you in comedy is you can't punch down. You can only punch up. And so the shitty thing about being Georgia or Alabama or USC, which we sometimes do and we shouldn't, although we're kind of down now, is that when you're on top of the world, you're kind of a douche when you punch down. So the problem is you guys are so used to punching up because you had like, you know, the Mark Richt years.
You're still in that mentality.
Yeah, you're not Mark Richt anymore. You're the new Alabama.
It doesn't suit you anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and it's coming off as juvenile.
Yeah, you got to be on top of it.
That is a very good way of explaining that. I was trying to find the right words to explain it. You hit the nail on the head.
But you know, I think you'd be a little. I think you'd be a little juvenile for the off season. You know, once the new season starts, I don't know. I'm just feeling. Again. So Tony, I can remember all the crap we took at USC for the 1990s, right? That made 2002 through 2009 really fun, you know. And after you get that first year out of your belt, then you stop.
I'm not putting it up there.
Yeah, but USC has a little different thing because see, most people at USC don't know anything that happens between the I-5 freeway and 10th Avenue in Manhattan. Like they don't even know what's happening. When we played Auburn, a lot of my friends thought it was some school up by Stockton somewhere.
Auburn, California.
Yeah.
Wow.
Isn't it up
by the
Stockton?
way, Jeff, it looks like judicial protest took a shot at you.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I didn't want to be left.
Well, I'm not going to put it on the screen, but I read it. It's actually funny. Not going to lie, it was actually funny.
Judicial protests have a little respect.
It's an Alabama joke.
That's only stepbrothers.
Yeah, that's like
which is a great movie, by the way. That's a great movie.
I will.
I think you get all off season to crow. Then it'll get old if you keep going past the off season. It might get a little bit old, but again, I don't know for a fact, but I'm assuming that Georgia fans caught a lot of shit for the last 40 years. So I think they're allowed to serve up a little bit. of crow to some people. That's all I'm saying. That's where I'm going with it.
That's probably fair.
I don't disagree with you. I don't
Fair
disagree
enough.
with you. It's their delivery that, like, the way they deliver it just comes off as juvenile.
Yeah, because you're right.
It's not even good trash talk.
It's
like the one that he said earlier, national champs go dogs, get over it. What are you talking about? I've never said that Georgia's not the national champ. You guys are the national champs. Congratulations. Like, what are you talking about? Get over what?
Now that Georgia won, the girls are having a harder time finding dates.
Oh.
Because we used to love dating Georgia girls because they never expected a ring.
Oh. That's a good one.
And there you go. And Jeff, thank you. Jeff, thank you for illustrating my point. I'm sure they've been hearing that for 39 years. So, I think that's why you're getting you're again, if I was a Georgia fan, I'd be crowing right now. Because again, think about it. That's what makes the sport great. Do you know what I mean? Your rivals give you a bunch of stuff all the time. You're told that your team sucks. And I'm going to tell you, and I know Georgia fan knows this, just like USC fan knows it. We go down for a long time, and it's horrible. And you hear everything from everyone about you're irrelevant, you suck, you're always second fiddle, you can't win the big game, etc. And then you win. And I'm going to tell you guys, anybody's ever been down in their life, and all of a sudden the people that were putting you down, you're above them, believe me, it tastes that much sweeter. So, I mean, I get what they're saying.
Ask Oregon how the last 10 years have felt.
Trust me, Tim, I grew up, I'm an old man. I remember the 80s and before Stalling got there. I remember when Stallings was gone and before, Alabama's had a lot of success, but we've also had quite a couple really bad downtimes.
Honestly, this is the best comparison that I can come up with. I've been trying to think of this all night. So the way it comes off to me would be like if Vanderbilt somehow won a national championship and they didn't even realize what it was, but all of a sudden, we're national champs, so I don't even know what to say, so I'm just going to say whatever pops in my head first. Like that's how they're coming off.
Yeah, but I do agree with Tim. We've picked on Georgia for 40 years. They deserve their 364 days of giving it back to us. They really do.
Maybe for West Virginia fans didn't know. Like, you talking about just Alabama fans or the entire nation? Now I'm confused.
I'm sure Georgia heard it from a lot of teams in the LSU and.
I mean, they are in the SEC, so
hey,
I understand that. Yeah.
Remick says, "I'm sure all the USC fans will never shut up if they actually do win a national championship." I want to know when did they ever shut up?
But I don't
Which
know
one of the
about
11 do you want to discuss? I mean, I'm not sure what you mean if we ever win a national championship.
And also, when did we ever shut up?
Good, that's a good point.
Are y'all starting to understand what I'm saying now?
It's true.
It's stuff that don't make sense.
But would it be worse if Notre Dame won a national championship all of a sudden?
Oh,
yes.
Good God, we would never hear the end of it.
I mean, we're still hearing about 1988.
I don't know. I wasn't old enough in 1988 to know what it sounds like for Notre Dame to win a national championship, so I don't know.
Especially if they win a national championship as an independent, they would just trash on everyone who's in the conference.
I would agree with that.
Yeah,
I would not.
At least until Army wins one.
You know what's really bad?
I knew you were out there, Will.
The last time that Notre Dame won a national championship, they beat West Virginia. We have to live with that every day right now.
Oh,
that's my burden to bear.
That is a burden to bear.
Yes.
Well, now that Notre Dame has a recruiter as a head coach, it's probably going to be more likely than not that Notre Dame is. I mean, if Kelly, again, I don't want to hear from all LSU people yelling at me, but it's a well-known fact that for whatever reason, Brian Kelly says he couldn't recruit up at Notre Dame. He would get good lines, but if you're a coach at Notre Dame and you can't bring in 5-star quarterback after 5-star quarterback after 5-star quarterback, that should be hint number one that something's wrong in your recruiting talents. And I didn't see that at Notre Dame when Brian Kelly was there. He walked out the door blaming that you can't recruit at Notre Dame. And again, Marcus Freeman walks in there and just from word go, he's recruiting top talent.
Yeah, and where is LSU right now in recruits? They're not in the top 25.
That is true.
And if you can't recruit at LSU, you're in trouble, just like Notre Dame. I mean, Notre Dame.
You should be able to fall off a curb in the campus and get a 5-star at LSU.
Hey,
So,
if Ed Orgeron can win a national championship at LSU, then Brian Kelly better. Otherwise, he's going to make himself look silly. Thank you, P Digits, for the $4.99 donation. Says, I give you hell in the comments section, but I love your videos and shows, GBD. Make the dream, sir. I hear you. We're working on it. We're getting very close to 10,000. So, oops, I clicked on
and
the wrong.
Judicial Protest is a Notre Dame fan.
Wow, we just figured it out. It all guys, think about it.
Makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Hold on. I have an alternative theory. Judicial Protest is actually the troll name of Will.
Oh, wait a minute.
Oh.
Hold on. I need a chart.
Do we have their locations at the same time?
Yep.
How did we not?
You had us for a second, Judicial Protest.
Now we figured it out.
Yeah.
How did we not know that? Like now it's like obvious.
Well, when he kept talking about playing with little kids, we should have wondered.
No, let's not go there. Come on.
But then he would have been a Penn State fan.
Like even his screen name. Like how did we not know that?
Hey Stubby, where did judicial as in the worst Supreme Court justice ever. That makes more sense.
Will's a starving college student. He couldn't afford all the big bucks that Judicial's throwing around. So
Will, are you turning tricks to be Judicial Protest?
Judicial Protest is just Will who won the lottery.
Yeah.
You know,
from his new yacht
figuring out
his money.
I think us figuring out his fandom is actually a great way to end this particular live show. Tomorrow, I'm actually going to start a little bit earlier so I can have a longer live show. I've been starting a little too late. It's just how my schedule's been working out. But tomorrow, I will most definitely try to start earlier. Maybe we can get like a 2.5 hours, something like that in there.
Hey, I tell you what,
you guys have been awesome. You guys have been awesome.
By the way, so UGA,
Tim, try to be here. Tim, try to be here tomorrow. I think you said you had some questions, maybe for Travis Kenobi. I'll try to get Travis Kenobi to come in here with us tomorrow.
That'll work.
Yeah, I'll be here tomorrow.
All right, as usual, guys. Before we get out of here, I'm going to let everybody do their last words. So we will go with Tony. Give us your last word, buddy.
My last word is, as much shit as we talk about everything, the strongest thing for the sport is for the Big 12 and the Pac-12 and the Big 10 and the ACC and even the SEC to all be, and even the AAC to all be strong. So as much as we talk smack to each other, it would be really good for the sport this season if it was one of those years when all the conferences were strong. Fight on.
Agree with that.
Hook 'em, and let's have a repeat of 2005.
Well done, Tony. Well done. TND, last word, buddy.
Yeah, pretty much exactly what Tony said, except I'm gonna carry it over down to the group of 5, and that includes, conferences like Conference USA, the Mountain West, AAC, Sun Belt, the MAC. Well, maybe not the MAC, but to each his own. But
right.
Again,
they have fans too.
Go Cox, go Mountaineers, and I'll catch y'all later.
All right, good job, buddy. Oops. Tim, last word, buddy.
No, I mean, I want to echo what they just said, because football is not fun when it's just one or two teams generating all the attention, one or two conferences generating all the attention. I mean, if you're older like me, you got to grow up when there was these games. There was bowl games. Bowl games meant things, and I'm hoping. I don't know. I'm kind of a pessimist that sports money and guys in Boston and Manhattan making decisions for all of college football, those days don't come. So I'm excited.
Right.
And by the way, Sir UGA and all the Georgia fans, don't let anyone tell you to be quiet, dude. You just guys enjoy your year. That's all I would say.
I just like egging them on. Well said. We'll go to Jeff Graham. Last word, buddy.
Yeah, I agree with what they said. I mean, the 70s was probably the best era for football because you had USC strong, you had Texas strong, Notre Dame, Alabama, Penn State, Nebraska, Oklahoma. Think if we could have an 18 playoff and you had the Blue Bloods all at top form. Yeah. I like Alabama winning all the time, but I'd rather just see a couple playoffs where it's a dogfight and anybody could win.
Yes, I would agree with that. Well said, Jim.
Have a great night.
Jeff. I tried to say Jeff Grimm at the same time. Well said, Jeff. There you go.
Thanks, man. Have a good one.
And put your link in the comment again, okay?
I will. Thanks.
All right, appreciate it. Y'all sub him up. He doesn't have a video out, but he's gonna start coming out with videos. So y'all sub his channel up. Joey Foster, man, we're glad to see you. You know, you made it out of the hospital. Looks like you're doing better. And I'm going to give you the last word out of all of our guests.
29 days, 21 hours, 15 minutes, and 20 seconds.
I feel good about it, too.
Brawl.
I feel good about it. I'm not nervous.
You know, we should all be excited about that, whether you're a West Virginia or a Pitt fan or not. It's you know, beginning of college football season. I'm looking forward to it. There are some games the week before, not really that big, but, you know, I'm fired up about this season. I'm anxious to see if West Virginia can take a step forward, and I'm sure they can. The only thing I'm going to point out is one more time, I'm going to say, make sure you make a purchase in the store to have a chance to win the night vision binoculars, or Super Chat to have a chance to win the trail cam. And don't forget, we are on, we do have podcasts on Apple, TuneIn, Spotify, and other platforms. So be sure to look for our podcast. Our podcast is a little bit behind because I was in the hospital. So I got to work on it and get it caught up, which will probably be tomorrow. Don't really feel like doing it tonight. But be sure and sub us up over there as well. During the football season, we'll have more podcasts on there. It doesn't cost anything to sub it up right now. But some episodes will not be free. I will tell you that. But be sure and hit us up. Hey, and don't forget our Patreon page. Be sure to come over to our Patreon page. I know a lot of people sign up on YouTube, and that's great. We appreciate you becoming a member on YouTube. But if you'll come over on Patreon, you can get perks. You know, you can have special perks.
That's where the perks
big
are.
Discounts. Right, that's where all the perks are. So be sure and come over to Patreon and sub us up. You know, if you've got a membership on YouTube, you know, you can first of the month when it goes to renew, just drop it and come over on Patreon and get some perks.
Especially during the regular season, you actually have a chance to win money.
Right, because you have a chance to win money by being a Patreon member. Plus, you'll get to stream games with us. So
yes, big deal. Big deal.
That. All right, I will get out, man.
Well said, Joey. Appreciate you.
I appreciate the support, everybody.
We're glad to have you back, man. Anthony Zappin, thank you for the $5 donation. Let's go Mountaineers. Those are my favorite super chats. Judicial protest, got to get one more jab in there before we get out of here. Thank you for the $5 donation. Says, crap, this is a WVU stream? I thought I was watching King of the Hill. I got Joey confused with Dell. So there you go, Joey. He even got you too. Getting everybody tonight. That was actually funny. That was actually funny. I got to say on that one. Appreciate everybody that stopped by, watching the show, all the comments, everybody that's liked. If you haven't liked, like on the way out. I know we won't be live anymore, but even so, the more likes we have, the more it will get suggested and the more views it'll get, and that's how you bet a video. So just on the way out, hit the like button, and we'd greatly appreciate it. Appreciate all of our people that super chat. Judicial protest, man, you've become one of our biggest financial supporters whenever it comes to super chat. So we appreciate it, man. Know you're getting some jabs in there, but you're also helping the show, so we appreciate it. But we're going to get out of here, guys. I'll have another live show tomorrow. I don't know when it's going to be, so the best thing to do is hit the notifications. That way you know. And if you're not a subscriber of Gold Unbluted, now is actually the best time to do it because we are on the march to 10,000 subscribers. And actually, let me get you one last count before we get out of here. We are 379 subscribers away from 10,000. Every subscriber counts. That's one subscriber closer to 10,000, and we appreciate it. All right. Y'all have a good night, and we'll see you tomorrow.